Hey guys, thank you so much for being here tonight. I'm honored and privileged to be here with you to share with you what I think are some of the most powerful tools that I can think of that really truly have the potential to change your life. I know they did for me so many years ago, and I think that can happen for you as well. My name is Jason Teal. I'm a life coach and life strategist. And for those of you that are wondering what the heck that is, what I do, what I'm about is helping people, helping you, helping anyone. I speak with individuals and with couples. I help them to figure out what is blocking them, what's preventing them from really living the life that they truly deserve, that they truly want to live. Maybe the life of their dreams. It might sound interesting to you, maybe. I don't know. But, you know, we all have in our lives, we all have things that, or an area, I should say, of our life where we feel that maybe we're down here and we know we can be up here, but we're just not sure how to get there. There's something preventing us. There's a block we have and we just can't figure it out. So what I do is help people figure out what that block is. What it is that's preventing them from taking their life to the next level. What even more importantly, I believe than that is what I get real excited about is really helping people to wake up, as I call it, to really remember who they are. I mean, if I asked you right now who you are, I mean, really, who are you? Do you know? Could you come up with an answer? You see, I think we've all forgotten how wonderful, how beautiful, how truly powerful we all are. And it's because we're so distracted. We're so busy in life doing for everyone else but ourselves. Real quick, for those I don't want to lose my train of thought, but for those that are joining now, I just want you to know that this, probably should have mentioned this in the beginning, that's okay. This is not going to be fully interactive, just in the sake of time. I do absolutely, I would love to hear from you guys out there. If you like what you're hearing, if you like the video, please like my page. Like the video, share it by all means, please, if you like what you hear. But I'm doing this by myself, so I won't be able to take questions. But afterwards, if you want to post something on my site, if you have a question, if you want to share an experience, I want to be here for you. I want to be your coach or help in any way that I can. So please share an experience, ask a question. I'd love to reach out to you and answer anything you have. So for those that are maybe joining in right now, again, my name is Jason Teal. I'm a life coach, life strategist. This event, my talk tonight, is about mastering your thoughts and your focus. So that's what I'll be talking about tonight. So going back to what I was saying previously was, we're so busy, we get caught up that we forget who we truly are here. We just don't take the time. We're busy, we get up in the morning, we go to work, we sit in traffic before we get to work, and then we're at work all day. We sit in more traffic to get back home. We get home, we're taking the kids to soccer. We're just pulled in so many different directions that we just truly don't take the time for ourselves to really think about who we are, to think about our lives, to become students of our life, if you will, to really understand what motivates us. What motivates you to get up out of bed each and every morning, to do what you do? What is your life about? These are the types of questions we need to really, I would suggest we get into the habit of asking ourselves if we really want to begin to shape and mold our life the way that we wish. So without going into too much of that, what we're going to talk about tonight is, again, mastering thoughts and focus, which I really believe in my heart that it's so important. It's really the beginning of everything. It's really it's what creates and shapes our destiny. And we really need to become aware of what is going on up here with us. There's something that, and by the way, if you're not writing anything down right now, that's okay if you're not taking notes. I would suggest, if you can, maybe take notes. I'm not too concerned about if you forget something or having you write these down, just because, of course, this video will be saved here on my page. You can come back and visit anytime you like, and check out and replay the video anytime. But if you can take notes, it'll help. You'll retain much more of what I'm sharing with you this evening if you're actively listening and taking notes. I think it goes up to about 80% retention if you do that versus just passively listening. Anyway, this event is slated for an hour. We may very well, I'll keep track of time, we may very well end up going, it may end up being shorter than that, actually. My thinking was that if I said the event was an hour and we ended a little bit short of that, you guys wouldn't mind too much if that happened, versus if we ended up going past an hour. I want to respect your time. I know we're all busy with life, with stuff, so the plan is to come up with, well, let me go back. My inspiration in wanting to do this was reflecting back on my life to figure out, when I look back on my life and my journey, what were some tools, what were the most powerful things that I did, some things that really just changed my life drastically. And so what I did was I came up with three main ideas, or three tools, if you will, life tools, as I like to say, that I believe are really just some of the most powerful tools I can think of when I thought back to my life. And I wanted to share these, and they're things that are fairly simple to do. They do take a little practice, but you can implement them in your life fairly easily. They're quick, they're easy, and they're really, did I say powerful? I know I've said that a bunch. Forgive me. So my plan here is, in the sake of time, is to break these up into 3 separate videos. So instead of doing one long video tonight where that covers everything, I'll break it out into 3 separate videos. So let me just get into it right away. So we know what we're all here for tonight, which is becoming a master of our thoughts and our focus. We'll come back to that. The other two are, one is the power of meaning. The power of meaning in our life. We assign meaning to things, to events of our life, to our life experiences, and we're constantly doing this. Whether we're aware of it or not, whether we're conscious of it or not, is a different matter. And that's what I want to help you with, and help inspire you, motivate you, is to start to become gain an awareness of the meaning that you're attaching to things, how you're creating your life, how you're shaping things in your life. So we're constantly attaching meaning to our experiences in life. And so we want to become aware and conscious of the meaning we attach to those things. In and of itself, and this may be controversial for some of you guys, and you may go, oh, this guy's wacky, I don't know this guy, this Jason Teal, man. But I'm going to say it anyway. And that is that life in and of itself, the events of life, have no meaning in and of themselves. The words people say to us, the things that people say that we go, oh man, that really hurt, especially if it's a loved one or someone close to us, and those words sting. Is it really the words that they said, that they spoke, the vibration? Words are just words. They have no meaning other than the meaning we attach to those words, or the meaning that we give to an experience we have in our life. It's so important, it's so critical, and we're constantly doing it. So we must become aware, and in order to take charge of our life, so we know the meanings that we're giving to things. So the meaning of your life. I mean, what is the meaning of your life? Do you guys know? Do you have an idea? And I'm not doing that to put you on the spot or try to be a smart ass. I'm just trying to get you to think. What I want to stress more than anything else is that I don't want to be your guru. I'm not a guru, I'm not in that business. All I simply want is what I really am here to do is to share my experience, share a way that I know that can really open up your life, that can really open up doors, and that will allow you, that will empower you to really live and enjoy life fully, maybe more fully than you are now. I don't know your personal situation. I haven't met you, so I don't know what your life is like, what your story is. But my hope is that in me sharing my story and some things that I've picked up along the way, that they'll rub off on you a little bit in this video, hopefully. And that when you start to implement these tools, you'll start to see things change. But I'm not here to tell you what to believe in. I want you to keep an open mind, and that's all I ask for. Try some things. If these things you can mold, you can adapt and change things that I'm sharing that fit you, that may benefit you. Maybe there's things that you can tweak that I'm sharing that work better for you. I don't know, but just all I'd ask is that you keep an open mind and maybe just try some of the things that I'm sharing with you. So really quick, so going back, power of meaning. So my suggestion is that it's the meaning that we give to things, or give to our lives. The reason why we wake up and get out of bed every morning, it's the meanings that we've attached to those things that can either empower us and propel us and move us forward, or they can weaken us and we become victim, and that's not such a great place to be. There are great examples of this. We all know people, some maybe personally. We have many examples of life of fantastic individuals that have gone through horrendous things in their life. Things that no human being should have to deal with, should have to go through. The amazing thing is that we've seen examples, we've seen these people somehow make it through these experiences and come out the other side. I hate to say better, but for lack of a better word, they come out stronger, if you will. I hate to say better, but I'm going to say it better. They are able to come out and share their experience and give back something to other people, and it hasn't affected them in a negative way, if you will. Where we see other people that have gone through the same or similar experience, and yet it disempowers those individuals. It's really affected those people in a negative way. So what is the difference then? My suggestion would be that it's the meaning that they attached to their experience, the reason they felt they went through that said experience. So there's some great examples. I don't want to dwell on this too much in the sake of time, but some excellent examples of individuals that are just extraordinary individuals are Nelson Mandela, the Dalai Lama, and a man by the name of Viktor Frankl. I don't know, you may or may not have heard of him, but he wrote a book called Man's Search for Meaning. It's an excellent book. I highly recommend it. And he was a Nazi concentration camp survivor. He was also a psychiatrist. And just to briefly summarize while he was in the concentration camp, what he wanted to find out, the main question that he kept thinking upon was, what made the difference between people that survived the concentration camp, that made it out of the concentration camp, and those that didn't survive? And basically what he discovered was the people that survived gave an empowering meaning, or had an empowering reason to survive. So for some, that meaning was they had a loved one waiting for them on the outside that they needed, they had to survive for, because that, maybe it was a child, that person, that individual, that child was dependent upon them. So they had to survive. So for some, that was the meaning they gave. For others, the meaning was that they wanted to survive this experience so that they could share it with the world, so that something like this, something this horrific, would absolutely never happen again. And that was the meaning they gave. So that's all I'm going to say about that. That'll be another video, and we'll get into that a bit more, but just something to think about for now. Those are great individuals you can read about. You can Audible, by the way, if you don't have time to read, you can listen to audiobooks. I listen to books. I do it all the time. I love it. You can listen to them in the car, wherever you're at. Anyway, the next thing is to cultivate the ability to speak with the invisible. And I know that sounds mystical and magical, if you will, but all I mean by that is that I strongly believe and have experienced personally that we're all guided. We are guided in life by something greater than ourselves, something larger than ourselves, a powerful energy. Some call it God, some refer or say the universe, whichever you prefer, whichever you're comfortable with is fine. And not only are we guided, but we can actually depend upon and rely on this energy. We can ask it questions. If we're stuck in a place where we're not sure about something in our lives, maybe we have a crucial decision to make in our life, we can actually ask this energy. We can put it out there and just start having a conversation. So the idea is to develop a conversation, develop a relationship with God, with energy outside of ourselves that guides us, that helps us. You see, there's an old model out there that says that this isn't possible. That states basically we have a one-way communication with this power outside of ourselves. I'll say God. And we've been taught, many of us, to, we get down on our knees and we put our hands together and we pray. And usually we only do this when we really are at a tough spot in life, which is part of my point in having a constant conversation. But I'll get back to that. But we pray and we hope then that things will work out. And sometimes it might, and we go, okay, thank you, God, and that worked out. And other times maybe it doesn't. And then I don't know what we think then. But that is kind of an old model, if you will. And I think we need to update that model to have an experience. So there is an option of a two-way conversation where we can ask questions. We can, unlike a prayer, we can just have a conversation and talk and say, okay, I really need some help here. And you can use whatever vocabulary you want. God, mother, father, I don't know whatever you feel inside, whatever works for you. And say, look, I really need your help. I need your guidance. Send me a message. And if you just pay attention to your life, I promise you, you will get answers. But we have to pay attention. And in order to do that, we have to become aware. We have to be aware of our life, of what's happening. Because the messages, the answers to our questions, this guidance can come to us in many forms. Sometimes in the form of someone's words. Sometimes in the form of a song. Maybe it's a movie. There are many different ways that life talks to us, that life speaks to us. Our own physical bodies talk to us. When we get sick, we just don't get sick for no reason. It's there to talk to us, to speak to us, to say, hey, something's not right. Something's not right here. To motivate us to say, hey, we're out of balance. We need to take care of ourselves. There's an excellent book, and I'm going to move over because I'm going to show it to you really quick because I have it. This book right here, excellent book, Conversations with God, book 1. It's by a man by the name of Neale Donald Walsch. I don't know how much you can see that, by the way, but anyway, Conversations with God, book 1. He's written 3 of them. He's written more than 3, but in this, it's a trilogy. But he talks exactly about specifically what I'm sharing with you, specifically on how to do this, how to talk. You're constantly having a conversation with God, with the universe, and asking for guidance and receiving that. So pick up the book. I have it as a resource on my Facebook page here. It's also on my page, my main website, which is jasonfteal.com. That's jasonfteal.com. There again, I have a separate resource page with links to Amazon. You can check it out there. Highly recommended book. That's one of the first. I think that is the first book that I actually read when I started on my journey so many years ago. And just reading that book will be very powerful for you and transformative. So we got that out of the way. So what we're here tonight, what we're all interested in is to talk about mastering our thoughts and our focus. So what do I mean by master? So let me get that out of the way first, because I may refer to that more than once. And all I mean by that is, I don't mean some mystical kung fu master that has studied for their whole life and meditates 5 hours a day. And that's not what I mean by master. I love kung fu movies and all, but I don't mean that. Living up on the mountaintop and meditating and being at one with the universe, that's easy. That's easy stuff. We can all do that like that. The challenge is to be in that state, to be in a loving, kind, nurturing state, to really love your life when the kids are going crazy and they're screaming in your ear and you got to do this, you got to do that, and just the life, the wear and tear of life, getting up, going to work, waiting in traffic, someone cuts you off, it pisses you off, and then now you're frustrated. All of that stuff. That's the challenge. Challenge, I think, is the best word for it. How do we live in a world that we live in and still love life, still enjoy life, love who we are, and live with passion? Wake up each and every morning excited to be alive, excited to wake up. We have to become, as I mentioned before, students of our life. And what I mean by that, so there's a great quote that I love, and it says, "The unexamined life is not worth living." The unexamined life is not worth living. Socrates. And what I feel it means, I think it's fairly self-explanatory, but what I take from that is that we have to assess our lives. We have to be students of ourselves. We have to understand why we do the things we do. Why is our life showing up the way it is? Maybe your life is fantastic. I don't know you. I don't know. But typically we all have areas of our life. Even if life is great for the most part, we all have an area of life where we feel, maybe that could be better. So we have to get in the habit of assessing ourselves. And so going back to being a master is what I mean by that, my definition is simply someone who is aware, someone who is self-aware, someone who, and what that means is they understand that thoughts are things. They understand that the power of a thought, to the creative force behind a thought, behind our words, behind the thoughts that we hold in our mind, the things that we say, the way we use our physical bodies, the way we move through life, our physiology, all of those things are connected. And they can work in harmony with us and really push us forward and help us create a beautiful life, or they can work against us. And I think there are too many of us where that's happening, where we're not using the tools that we have in here. I believe we've been given everything we need. We have everything we need within ourselves. And I know that may be cliche, but I sincerely believe that. And one of the best ways that you can test that is a concept called act as if. There's an excellent, which reminds me, there's an awesome TED Talk by a woman by the name of Amy Cody. I'm pretty sure that's her last name. Amy Cody. And her TED Talk is about the power of physiology to transform who we are. I'll say that again. The power of our physiology to transform who we are. So basically she took a group of people and she had them stand in these power poses. I believe that's the title of the TED Talk, these power poses. And she had them stand up in like these superheroes. So let me stand, hope it doesn't cut my head off. But for only 2 minutes, only a couple minutes each day. Now I can't remember exactly how long they did this for, if it was for a week or a month or I know it was a pretty short period of time. I want to say it was a week, maybe 2 weeks. But she literally had to do this. So this would be like your Wonder Woman, superhero, Superman pose. Maybe this is better. Tuck in my, and just it's very powerful. Just standing like this for a couple minutes. And what she found was it. So the thing was, she had them go on a job interview. Now the people that were doing the interviewing had no idea what these people did to prepare for the interview. None at all. They weren't told anything. But what their job was, of course, is to grade their performance, how these people performed. Every single person that did these power poses, and I know this seems silly, but you know what? I don't care anymore what people think of me. I don't care, and please, and I hope you don't either. I go to the park and I do these poses, and I don't care who's there, and I tell you, it makes you, it immediately will change your focus and immediately change how you feel. I know that sounds crazy, but I challenge you to try it. And let me know, post here, if you notice a change in how you feel, in your confidence level, in your emotional state. Anyway, she had these people do it. Everyone that did these poses performed much better in the job interview. They had more confidence going in. They were more personable in the job interview. They just all around did better. The wonderful thing that they discovered with this, and Amy speaks to this from her own experience, is that when you embody this, when you act as if, you actually become that which you want to be. Acting as if. So it's like pretending, if you will. Fake it till you make it. We've all heard that term as well, or most of us have, I imagine. The more, if you do that consistently, you will actually become whatever it is that you are pretending to be, because it just becomes part of you. And in that moment, what you realize immediately is that you've always had that within yourself. So the power is in giving it. The way you know that you have everything within you is to give that which you think you don't have within in here to another. So maybe that's love, for example, or happiness. Maybe happiness is a better one. Happiness. You think everyone wants to be happy, right? The quickest way to be happy is to cause another one to be happy. Put a smile, allow someone to smile. And then let me know how that makes you feel in that moment. What you'll discover is that you have it to give. You couldn't give something. We can't give something we don't have. Keeping track of time, sorry guys. I don't want to keep you over. We can't give something away that we don't have. So in that moment, anyway, long story to get to the point of me saying to you, we have everything we need in here. We all have everything we need. We don't use the power. We don't use the power we have within ourselves. So there's an excellent thing, and I'd love you to write this down if you can write it down, please. It's really important. I really want you to stick this in your mind and remember it. And it says that the quality of the thoughts that you consistently focus on results in the quality, is a direct result of the quality of your life, shapes the quality of your life. The quality of the thoughts you consistently focus on determines the quality of your life. That's the quote I meant to say. Sorry guys. The quality of the thoughts you consistently focus on up here determines the quality of your life. And I hope that I can show you that and prove that to you with an exercise that I want you guys to do. So let's go into that. So how do we do this? How do we become a master of our thoughts and our focus? Well, one way, as I kind of touched on that before, is we all go to emotion, by the way. So let me start there. We are under the delusion, I'll say, that we just move through life and things happen to us. And and that reminds me of something I wanted to touch on before. When I started my journey so many years ago, what happened for me was, and maybe some of you out there can relate to this, was that I started asking some big questions. I started really feeling like there has to be something more to life than just this, than me getting up in the morning, getting in the shower, brushing my teeth, going to work, and doing the same all over again the next day. That sounds insane, right? Isn't that the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. Anyway, but I was really asking some of these big questions. What's my life about? What am I here for? What is life about? There was something deep within me that, and I didn't know what it was, but there was something deep within me that I just knew there had to be something greater to life, to my life, a purpose, but I didn't know what that was. And and we have to, I think some of you maybe can relate to that. I would often call it or say that I felt like I was sleepwalking through life. I was just going through the motions, as I would say. I was stuck in a dream I couldn't wake myself up from. And this part of this process of what we're going to talk about tonight will get you out of that mode, will take you out of that and kind of wake you up, shake you up. I believe that many people experience that and are ready to, as I call, wake up or remember who they really are in here. And not on the surface, not on the personality, but on the soul level. So how do we do this? How do we change our focus? So my point is, and what I was going to before I got into that, was that we are under the delusion that we just feel. We're going through life and we're just reacting. We're in reaction. We're not in control, or the feeling is we're not in control of our life. Sometimes you wake up, maybe you're in a good mood, but then somewhere along the day that mood shifts and now you're in a bad mood, but you have no idea why. Or so let me ask, do you know why you feel the way that you do from moment to moment? Do you know the way that you feel from moment to moment? Do you understand why you feel the way you do, is another way to say it. That is a side benefit, an added benefit of monitoring our thoughts and becoming master of our thoughts and our focus, is that you also become a master of your emotional life. So we all know, so let me explain. So we all go to emotion. Emotions just don't happen to us. That's bullshit. Bullshit. I'm sorry, but if you think that and believe that, we go to emotion. We cause ourselves to feel the way that we feel. I know, I said a naughty word. I saw that face. So anyway, we all know, for example, these are universal. We all know what someone that is happy, what that person looks like. If for $1 million there was someone hiding behind a curtain and I said, they're happy, describe what that looks like. Describe happy for me. Every single person watching this would be able to do it just like that, no problem. We all know what that looks like. Just as well, we all know what sad looks like. Why is that? Why? Because we've all seen it so much in life. We've all seen it. If I asked you, so we could right now, I could say, cause yourself to be happy. Cause yourself to be happy right now. You could do it, because there are particular things that we do in order to bring out emotion and to bring out a feeling. So it'll start with a thought in our mind. We'll start with a thought and we'll focus on that. We'll begin focusing on that thought. And then what happens? So if we go to sadness, for example, someone who's even depressed, we'll get a really juicy one. Someone that's really depressed, and they'll go, yeah, I'm really depressed. Maybe not in the moment they are. Maybe they feel all right. But if I said to them, okay, get depressed for me. They may laugh initially and and then no, really get depressed for me. What do you have to do to get depressed? And they'll do it. And what they do is they have a thought. Typically it starts with a thought and they'll start focusing on it. Then what happens after the thought, they begin focusing, the body follows. So it may look something like this. They have a thought that says, maybe I'm not such a good person, or I hate myself, or I'm not pretty, or whatever the thought is. And then the body, and then maybe their head starts to droop, and maybe they put their hand here, and you just see everything until they transform and they get themselves depressed. We go to those emotions, not the other way around. And the quickest way to snap us out of it is to radically change your body, radically change how you move your body. I know a quick example was one day I was out here in my home washing my car, and I realized while I was washing the car, my head was down and I'm looking in the bucket of car wash. And I wasn't looking at anything else. I was just so focused here. And I said, you know what? I literally just stopped, and it was a beautiful day outside. I think it was like 70 something degrees out. Sun was out, clear sky, gorgeous. And I very deliberately just put the sponge down. I raised my head, I looked up, and I just looked out at the beautiful day, said hi to my neighbor who happened to be out, which I didn't even notice them. My point is, what it made me in that moment realize was how often through my life that I'm walking with my head down like this, just walking around like this with my head down, not fully engaged in life, not aware, not embracing it, not seeing it. And I know this may sound fluffy and, like unicorns and rainbows, but I promise it has a drastic effect on you if you just pay attention. That's one of the ways you can pay attention to your focus, is how you use your body. Deliberately just check in with yourself in a day and say, how do you walk? Is your head up? Are your shoulders back? Is your chest out? Are you walking? I mean, this is confidence. This is, are you more like this with your head down and your back is arched? And how do you move through life? How you move through life is so critical. That immediately changes what you focus on. So going back to our thoughts. So how do we begin to monitor our thoughts? So I guess that's one of the things. I guess that is where we start. So here's a challenge. Here's a challenge that I need you guys. We have to begin here, is to understand what we're thinking. We have to know what we're saying to ourselves. We're constantly having a conversation with ourselves all the time. We're constantly talking to ourselves. We're constantly telling ourselves about ourselves all the time. The question is not whether that's happening, but more importantly, what is the quality of those thoughts? Are they overly positive, generally speaking? Are they more positive or are they more negative? Do you even know? Do you have any idea? I know for me, the concept, just the concept of knowing what you're thinking sounded ridiculous to me, honestly. And I'm like, well, how the heck does that work? Because I have to think about my thought. This sounds horrible. This sounds like a lot of work. I will say, in the beginning, it will feel like a lot of work. It will. But isn't it worth it? I can definitely say it's been. Because it changes everything. You start to begin and have an awareness of, hey, wow, okay, this is what's shaping my life. Well, no wonder I feel crappy. I'm constantly going around telling myself how shitty I feel and how horrible I am and how not beautiful I am and how all of these things, they have a layering effect. And the more we pile stuff up, we create a mountain out of a molehill until we get defeated and we give up and we go, I'm a piece of crap. And so what happens? Thoughts are things. So we have a crappy life. It works that way. That's how the universe responds to that. So this is the goal. This is the challenge here now, is what I want you to do is to keep a journal if you can. I love journaling. It's worked. It's magic for me. I love it. I keep journals all the time. I've kept them for years. The great thing about a journal is that you can go back and look at the journals and really see the progress that you've made over time. That's one benefit. Another benefit is that it's cathartic. It's just a really great way to get out your thoughts and your emotions and feelings out on paper. So it's healing. It's like going to therapy, if you will, or sharing your emotions with a close friend, but you can do it yourself by just simply writing it out. Maybe for some of you that's not manly enough. I don't know, but hey, I'm at one with my, the little girl inside. So, anyway, highly recommend keeping a journal, and it will be necessary for this, or you can just have a yellow notepad and however you want to write this down. But for 1 week, the challenge is for 1 week, I'll post it on the site as well. I want you to start to monitor what you're thinking about. I'd love for you to begin to start thinking about what you're thinking about. Now, how do you do this? Well, simple. From the moment you wake up to the time you go to bed, and any time in between that, so when you're sitting in the traffic, when you're going to work, for example, maybe you take a few deep breaths and just ask yourself softly, what am I thinking right now? What am I thinking? Just start to ask yourself that and just be aware. Just calmly, gently be aware of what's up here, what you're thinking about. And I need you to write it down. This is for you. This will benefit you. I don't need this. I do it all the time, so I don't have to write it down anymore. But in the beginning, it's helpful if you can write it down, so you can see a pattern. And I'll get to that in a minute, because it'll really benefit you. What I'd also like you to do is, while you're aware of what your thought is, in that moment, also think about, or tune in, I should say, become aware of what you're feeling, how you're feeling in that moment. So what I want you to do, the idea here is to begin to connect your thoughts with your feelings. Because what we think about and what we focus on affects how we feel. I'll say that again. What we think about and what we focus on affects how we feel. Do this for a week, and also pay attention to something that I admittingly still do myself, and I catch it, but be aware of anything you verbally. Sometimes we verbalize what we're thinking, and it may be something that it may be just one simple word. So for me, for example, I'll share that a lot of times I automatically, before I've even gotten into trying to problem solve something, I immediately will say, I don't know. I'll tell myself I don't know. And I have to really, and I catch it every time. But pay attention to things like that. There will be something like that it's a habitual thing for you, that you'll verbalize a thought. So pay attention to that as well. So anyway, that brings me up, that reminds me of something I want to share with you. And see, this is why it's so hard. I'm almost up for an hour. Oh my gosh. Okay. I gotta time squeeze now. Real quick. So I'm trying to give you some added tips and bonuses in this video here. And I'll post and add more stuff. So let me get to it real quick. What I'd like you to do is, inevitably, you're going to have things come up that, that's a negative thought, for example. Something like this. So when I say, man, I don't know, I catch it, you need to challenge it. If you need to write that down, please. This is really critical. It's really important. Challenge what you're saying to yourself. Too many of us, what we do is, this stuff that we say to ourselves, these thoughts that we have, we just accept it without challenging it. We just accept the talking, the communication we have up here, the things that we're telling ourselves about ourselves. We just accept it as truth. Challenge it. What you'll discover is that you're full of shit about yourself. I say that in the most polite, spiritual way possible, by the way. But seriously, you'll realize when you begin to challenge these things that come up, these thoughts that you have, particularly the ones that are negative, if you challenge it, you'll realize that it's not based in any kind of reality. So for myself, when I go to, I don't know, I question it. It looks like this. I don't know. What does that mean? I don't know. I don't know anything? And I start to internalize it. I don't know anything. I don't know. And then, you can hear me. Just immediately you go, well, of course I know stuff. Of course I know things. And if that thing that you say you don't know, at the end of the day, maybe it's not something that's a strength of yours, that's okay. But you can find an answer to that. And then you know what you can do is then focus on all of your strengths. Focus on the things that you are strong about, that are with. And that'll shift you out of that just accepting your thoughts, your things, these negative things. So monitor for a week what you're thinking about, these habitual things you say, you verbalize the thought, and then just look at it. And overall, just see, is there a correlation with with some of the thoughts that you have and how you were feeling in that moment. And just take a look. I think what you'll find is that there is a correlation between what you think and how you feel, the quality of your thoughts and how you feel in that moment. Because it directs that, it guides that. And then overall look and say, overall, am I a positive person? Am I being positive up here? Now you may say you're a positive person or consider yourself to be a positive person, but are you really? Are you being positive to you is the most important thing. Are you being loving and kind to you? Look at it all and then see, is it possible that this pattern, this overall, if overall I'm saying these negative things to myself, is it possible that that is having an effect on my life? That maybe if my thoughts are kind of negative, then maybe I'm not feeling so good about life and the quality of my life is just not there. Is it possible? That's all I'm going to ask you, is just test me. See if what I'm saying is true for you. Because these are testable things that you can check on, that you can see for yourself. Okay, so now we see, the other thing is you'll see a pattern. This is why, another reason that's beneficial to writing this down. You'll see a pattern emerge. And what I mean by that is, I guarantee that there are one or two things that you habitually, constantly tell yourself. One or two things. Maybe more, I don't know, but usually it's like one or two things. So pay attention to that. Is there something that you constantly, habitually tell yourself about you, that you're saying to yourself? So that's another benefit of writing this down. Okay, so now you have this stuff down. So now what do we do with it? We got to get rid of this stuff and start to create. Unless it's beautiful butterflies and unicorns up there that you're thinking about, then hey, sincerely, that's awesome for you. Congratulations. No, that's terrific. But if it's not, if the quality of the stuff up here is less than what you know you can achieve, then what we need to do is start to replace that stuff, that sludge that's up there, with something more powerful, something empowering, something that, my God, will just get you excited about getting up each and every morning and living life. Just be excited about life. So how do we do that? Well, we have to create a compelling future for ourselves, a vision for our life. We absolutely have got to create a vision for our life. Now, so this is the fun part, guys. This is the fun part. Now, I can't take too much time in doing this, but what we need to do now is really have a vision for our life and create something we can look forward to each and every day. And what we're going to do is use this vision for our life. That's something that's really exciting, really juicy, really that just gets you motivated and excited about life again. Dream again. We need to dream. We stopped dreaming once upon a time. As kids, we dream, we paint, we draw, and then at some point in our lives, because of social pressures, or we have to grow up. Someone told me I have to grow up, and we stop dreaming, and it's the saddest day of our lives. We can never stop dreaming. That's when we die. And our life withers away, and we just settle. We settle for life on a much lower level than it can be because we stop dreaming. So I don't know, the best way that I can think of to get us dreaming again is to get into a childlike state. So I want to do a quick meditation. I'm going to do it really fast, real quick. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to go into a guided meditation with you guys real quick. I'm going to put on a little nice music here. We're going to do this quick meditation just to get you in the state of being a kid again, of dreaming again. And then what we're going to do is start to write out the life of your dreams. Start to really dream again and think about in detail. Now, we don't have enough time to get into it, but when you start to create this, when you start to write it down, you can just write it all down, what your life looks like in the future for you. The best life you can imagine. Or if it helps, you can think of it as, what does the best day of my life look like? What am I doing with my life? Am I wealthy? Is that not important to me, maybe? And what is it you're doing? Are you in the best shape of your life? All of these things we're going to write down. If it helps, you can break it down into categories like personal development, finance, and things like items, like cars, houses, things like that. So if that helps, so over time, those things will be beneficial for you because you're going to constantly, more than likely, you're going to be altering and shifting this and shaping it and adjusting things. And that's fine. Be flexible in life. We have to be flexible. And you want to change things and make it really fine-tune things. And the key to this is to be as specific as you possibly can. To really be as specific as possible with our life. So again, when you're thinking about it, think about what are you doing with your life? Are you a coach? Maybe you're out. What are you doing? What gets you excited? What gets you really excited each and every morning to get up out of bed and say, I get to do this, instead of I have to go to work. We all say, oh, I have to do that. I have to. Life should be about what I get to do. This is what I get to do. And it fills me up with such deep meaning and powerful and joy and laughter and love. Maybe painting, maybe you're an artist. I don't know what it is for you, but whatever it is, what does it look like? What are you doing? How do you look? Are you in the best shape of your life? Do you work out all the time? You're doing yoga? Maybe you travel the world. Maybe you whatever it is, write out everything in your life. So let's do that real quick. We'll do a quick meditation here. Now I have no idea if you can even hear that music, but that's okay. So what I want you to do real quick is we're going to raise our hands up, and when you raise your hands up, you're going to breathe in. So just keep pumping. Go. Now I want you to just simply be aware and notice how your breathing has calmed your mind. Just notice how your breathing has calmed your mind. And real quick, let's place our hands on our heart and just breathe into your heart. Just breathe into your heart. And what I want to do now is let's go back. Let's all take ourselves back to, oh man, I think Christmas, the night before Christmas. I can't think of a better time, a better moment in life to think about, to really take yourself back there. What were you wearing? Maybe you were wearing your favorite pajamas. Maybe it was something your mom bought for you just for Christmas morning. Step into that moment. The night before Christmas, you were so excited. You didn't know what you were going to get. You had made your big list of the top things that you really wanted Santa Claus to bring. And you just had no filter on your dreams and your hopes. And you were so excited you couldn't go to sleep. Maybe you snuck into bed with your little sister or little brother and you were talking about your Christmas list. And just think about that moment. Think about how excited you were. Did you get up in the morning at an ungodly hour and rush into your parents' room and say, come on guys, come on, it's Christmas morning. And you jumped up on the bed and you're like, come on. Really think about, take yourself there again. Feel what that was like to be a kid again, to dream, to hope. You snuck down. How did you move? You went downstairs and you looked under the tree. Think about all those things. Really take yourself there. And from this place of unlimited dreaming, unlimited just being a kid again, just being a child, and I want you to write out your vision for your life. Write out the vision you have for your life. What are you doing? What gets you excited to wake up each and every morning? What do you get to do with your life? What is your life about? Do you travel the world and maybe talk to people, inspiring them because you're sharing a story, your life story with them? Are you in the best shape of your life? Maybe you work out all the time, you do yoga, you get up early in the morning and I don't know what that is for you. I'm just keeping track of time. Sorry, guys. What car are you driving? What are you wearing? What do you physically look like? Be specific. The details are really important, and you don't have to worry about it so much tonight, but when you write out this list and you start to fine-tune things, I want you, when you're thinking about it, we try to be as specific as possible. So if you're thinking about a car that you've always wanted, think about what the model, the color, what is the color of the interior inside, all of the details, think about that, write it out. What kind of car are you driving? What kind of house do you live in? What kind of relationships or relationship do you have? Think about all these things. Write it out. Turn the music off. Hopefully you heard some of that music. If you didn't, that's okay. So now we have this beautiful life written out for ourselves. It's something that's exciting, something that we really are juiced about. So how do we use it to our benefit? So there's a few things that we can do. One of the things I highly recommend is getting yourself in the practice of being grateful, stepping into gratitude each and every day. You have to make it a habit. If you don't, you're going to dwell on. We have a tendency to focus on the things we don't want, everything that we dislike, that we don't like in life. So we have to use this empowering vision for ourselves, and we have to use it daily. It's just like a muscle. In the beginning, it's weak, and it's going to hurt, and it's going to take time. But the more you work it out, the stronger you'll get, the more this will become part of your life, and it'll become a habit. Wake up each and every morning, and before you're thinking, get into some clothes, maybe some exercise clothes, some running, some tennis shoes, and get outside. Get outside and start moving. If you can get outside and start moving, and you can just go for a walk. It doesn't have to be a run or jog, but get outside and start moving. By moving and thinking at the same time, it integrates it into your nervous system. You'll fully integrate these positive thoughts more fully into your body, in your nervous system, and you'll infuse it, and you will become part of it. It will become part of you. Be grateful now for everything that's currently in your life. And it can be very simple things. I'm grateful for the morning. I'm grateful that I can get in the shower in the morning and have hot water. Whatever it is. Be grateful for the things that are currently in your life, and then take it a step further and be grateful for all the things that you created in your vision for your perfect life, for the best life. I hate to say perfect. There's no such thing as perfect, but a great life for you. Whatever that great life for you is, the vision is for you personally. Think about those things that you've written down and be grateful for them as if you are already experiencing them in your life, as if they have already occurred and you're experiencing them. I'll say that again. Be grateful not only for the things that are currently in your life, but be grateful for the things that you're wanting, as if they are currently in your life and you are currently experiencing them. Do this each and every day. It doesn't have to be first thing in the morning. If you can, I suggest it. 1 hour. Do this for an hour. Give yourself an hour. You're worth it. You're absolutely worth it. You need it. We need to do this. And this will get you, I got 1 minute. This will get you, pressure's on. This will get you in the habit of starting to think about what you want to create and replacing the stuff up here with this empowering vision for yourself. Another way that you can do this is what we did, is write it down. Now, you'll start to fine-tune your goals and your life vision. And one of the ways you can do that is what I described. And so this isn't really a goal-setting video. I can do one, or I can share it with you, some things you can do. There's some ideas that would be really helpful. But you can break it out into different categories of your life. And if you have, like, you probably, maybe if you have 10 things under one category, like personal growth, you want to start developing what are the top, you prioritize what you want to accomplish. You can do that by breaking it out into 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10, 20 years. But come up with 3. In the mind, you may be able to handle more, but typically in the mind cannot handle, chunks of 3 are great. Much more than that, you'll get overwhelmed. Chunks of 3, just write them down and print it off. Print it off, write it up on your computer, print it off, and put it where you can see it each and every day and just be focused on that. That's another way you can maintain this focus. All right, guys, there's so much more I love to share. I'll have to put it in another video. I've really enjoyed my time here with you this evening. I hope you have. Those of you that have joined, I'll have to look and talk to my wife. She's been watching. Hey, babe, and see who's been watching the video. But I hope you got something out of this. I really do. Please, if you like what you heard, like my page, like the video, share it with as many people as you can. If you liked it, if you didn't, I'm sorry. Post something. Ask me a question. I want to be here for you in any way I can. So it's been an awesome evening. Thank you for coming into my home, and live great and be kind to others, guys. I love you.